they're ahead, of course they're going to be able to close.
And hello, top lane. Zion Spartan will not get a Jax. Kassadin on that purple side. Go figure. Fanned out slow and even on both sides. The thoughts to come in now. Neither team can be taken lightly coming into this matchup. Shifter loses Ziggs, direct bans coming out in the beginning. And a Kale as well.
I'll be really fascinated if Seraph gets to play against Zion Spartan in a 1v1 this game. Seraph has actually not had many opportunities to have extended 1v1 lanes against other North American top laners. So much of the game, especially the game that CLG plays, has been about the 2v0 lane where the top laner is completely starved and then gets to join in team fights. And this would be the moment for Seraph to potentially shine against someone like Zion Spartan, or fail, because there's not really too much that incorporates the success of a 1v1 top lane outside of the top laners themselves.
Seraph's been having a bit of trouble when left to his own divides, and that top lane has been usually needing a bit of help from Dexter. Has been able to hold off a few leads that people have gotten on him, but never one to come out for himself. Right now with the Lulu, we saw that to great effect last game. We'll see what Zion Spartan decides to pick up.
Lulu definitely becoming more of a top lane pick than a mid lane pick, but because it is CLG and Link particularly in the mid lane, we have to remember when Link was at All-Star, his go-to pick that he had success against world-class mid laners all over the place with was Lulu.
Team. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a good chance they could still run that in the mid lane, which makes mid lane choices for Dignitas have to be a little bit more generic. Like that Orianna.
Like that Orianna indeed. I figured it might just be locked in. Shifter has some pretty good control with that champion. And shields, shield on shield for both teams.
Really fits his style. He can play very safe with it when he needs to, and has a lot of good defensive capabilities since he's the Shifter the unkillable pretty much.
Yeah, right.
In the mid lane. It also has a really nice side effect of blocking the Lulu-Orianna combination that a lot of teams have been liking to do. Just so many shields on potentially a hyper carry. Obviously that's the strategy CLG has kind of been going away from, but it will be still pretty good.
Well, the last time they did pick her, he went 6-0-5. That was with Cutie Pie on Lucian going 5-0-7 as well. Big plays coming out from them in their matchup when they picked up Orianna. Braum coming in. Got some bans today, but it's not going to be in the hands of Aframu this game.
Yeah, really interesting there. How far Braum fell behind. Whoa, they actually go... Never mind. For a second, I thought the CLG had picked a jungler. I was like, they go for Vi to take it away from Dexter. But it's actually just them going with Vi because they want to. Obviously, Lee Sin and Elise are banned. Crumb's not a big fan of playing Eve. So at that point, you're either falling back on his Nocturne picks, which have been very hit or miss, or something we really haven't seen much of from Crumbs this split.
Yeah, that would be real tough playing a Nocturne against a Braum. You're just asking to be locked down once you get in there. So good choice coming out from Crumbs' Vi. We'll have to see if he actually goes straight damage as well. And wow, a lot of fight capability coming in those last two picks of Chronologic Gaming.
Trying to lock in that Yasuo knockup synergy, which has been damn good for a lot of teams here. The Aurelia. Oh dear.
See how Aurelia matches up. Can close the gap no matter the slow that Seraph's going to put on her. But like we said, if we get that top lane matchup.
There's a lot to talk about here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on whether they decide to lane swap. Obviously, Twitch's main nerf in this patch was the fact that his base damage was lowered, and his base damage lowered, passive doesn't do as much damage, and it takes longer for him to stealth when he's taking fire. All those things combined make him much weaker in the lane, and the fact that sustain is harder to come by, and they're against a support that has sustain in Nami, make it really difficult theoretical laning phase for them. But Aframu and Doublelift are so good in 2v2, they might still lane anyways. And if they swap, they're going to be giving up a lot of the Dragon Gold. That's just the tip of the way these team comps are interacting. It'll
be big. If Dignitas gets any type of lead, they usually throw their foot down. So as the game's about to go live, we will see how the voting stands over at LLesports.com. It's very close, 52% going over to CLG. Dignitas could win some of that back soon.
Yeah, keep throwing those votes out throughout the game, though, by tweeting the hashtag CLG win or DIG win, because we will be updating this very close poll periodically see how the fans are predicting the outcome.
So looking at that double lift Afromu lane, they switch it up from what the usual is. Looking at the Twitch, Braum, still considering them one of the stronger lanes in North America. Faltered a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we got to remember that game, double lift and Afromu, got the kill on Turtle. They crushed them early on in the lane with the Nami. It was just the hooks later on in the game that spelled double lift's demise, and the way CLG played the mid game. Throughout this entire split, double lift and Afro have been proving time and time and again that they are the best.
We'll have another chance here in week 6. Oh, the crowd is ready. And the players, they're ready.
Big games this week. Even the EG Cloud9 at the very start of the day had so much building up to it because EG had climbed so high in feeling of potential power.
Right.
Cloud9 had fallen
beating the
low.
top teams from the bottom.
And now we have yet another one here where Dignitas is tied for wins with LMQ at the moment. Can regain that sole possession of first place with a win over CLG, but they fell to CLG in their first matchup in a ridiculously entertaining game.
So you can see that just about 40 seconds. That happened 2 games in a row that ward is placed. If you're the support in that brush, you can expect the blue team to be coming through around 40 if they have gone straight out of base. Good time to know. Good wards placed out by CLG. They're going to have Afromu place the lane check. Actually, that was Twitch already.
They're heavily scouting these lanes right now. They're really trying to manipulate the right matchup for double and Afro. We have been normally seeing teams just do the 5-man defensive line. And then it's actually, since people aren't getting deep wards, pretty much straight up guesswork as to where the lanes are going. But when they place wards that deeply, it will give them enough time to at least react to the lane they want to go to. Like, for instance, when Kiwi Kid walks through this lane where the double lift place, they will know exactly if they want the 2v2. And since double lift hasn't doubled back or went anywhere else, they want that 2v2, which means we kind of get everything we hope for. It's double lift Afro with a slightly weaker lane against PewDiePie and Kiwi, and the isolation matchup between Zion, Spartan, and Seraph.
Which I'm super excited to check out because of the consumable picked up by Zion, knowing it's not like instant kill power for him. He's going to stay there to get big.
Aurelia oftentimes does have to play extremely passive early on in the lane, especially against someone with the range disparity like Lulu. Early on in this lane, it is very one-sided for the Lulu.
We'll see how Zion takes to that. We know he likes to fight. Let's see if he can keep himself out of trouble. Buff's getting taken up both sides of the jungle. And we are off and running for CLG versus Dignitas. Been watching Dexter lately. If he does not make one crucial mistake in the beginning of the game, he usually has a great game.
Yeah, it's the thing with CLG. When they've been successful this split, they are so decisive as a team, and Dexter is pretty much always leading the way. But there have been times where they just reach one step too far, which is just natural as far as growing pains of teams go. When you're making aggressive calls, you make some calls that are a little bit over-aggressive, and you get called on them. It's happened a few times for CLG.
Yeah. See if they can keep themselves away from that. PewDiePie being first to the lane with double lift waiting for Afromu. You can see the level 2s to 1s. Trying to get a few auto attacks on. Kiwi Kid's getting an assist on that. Great trade and damage. Double lift under the turret's not going to have any trouble, though. Afromu still can get those siege minions with the relic.
Ooh. Dexter's trying a very creative gank, but he gets spotted by Crumbs. He was trying to dodge the Tri-Brush ward and stop PewDiePie and Kiwi Kid from shoving up. But nice vision gaining there by Crumbs.
Crumbs clash. Knowing what the deal is. Trying to get some damage down onto Seraph. You can see the consumable being drank up with the elixir.
This is just survival for Zion until he gets a few levels under his belt. Zion's going to need about 3 to 4 points in his W before he can start taking Seraph in trades.
Just saw this matchup a little bit ago. And it looks like Link actually also leveling his ball movement to keep up with the movement of Yasuo in that lane. Very good bubble, double bubble coming down. Afromu just with the unbreakable. Didn't even have to throw it on the stand behind me. Very controlled in his actions.
Afromu and Double Lift have been very convinced of Braum's power ever since he's been released. Even if they don't destroy the lane, they know they can come back later on in the game. Especially around level 5, the damage from Braum's Q is often enough to kill if they can get the stun proc just once.
And Afromu and Link are probably, for mid laner and support, one of the best communicators for initiation. So to have the Glacial Fissure into that ultimate as well, I'm sure we'll see that.
Yeah, they play very, very well together.
Ooh, we got one in the top lane. Yeah,
paths.
one in the bottom as well. The double bubble once again. There's the teleport, though, coming down. He can't do that. He's going to leave Crumbs in the top lane by himself. PewDiePie is going to get hit up now. A very nice gank back and forth. 80 carries are lost. And Seraph being hit up. One more attack.
What a crazy series of events.
With the teleport?
Potentially, but we're going to have to see both sides of this to really know exactly what happened, because specifically the bottom lane was just Doublelift and Afro getting a good trade. But in the top lane here, pretty much.
That's awesome.
It's pretty much a bait in at that point, but it did cancel the teleport.
Yeah.
So it worked in two ways. Yes, it acted as a bait, but Zion actually wanted to go down there.
Yeah.
Because if he was down there, they would have been able to pick up the 2 kills in the bottom lane. Right. Because of the flash, they ended up getting 2 kills anyway. But that is just a pretty cool.
Yeah, with him down there, that could have been some dragon control if they really wanted it.
Yes.
If they were to come on top of it.
That would have been the big win for Dignitas there. So when all is considered, Seraph made the right call of flashing to interrupt, because overall for the team, it benefited CLG.
Quick moves from both sides. It's really the first time Crumbs or Dexter haven't clashed heads this time, as they choose to gank different lanes. 6 in the mid from Link. And it's Shifter still at level 5. He's been pushed out, so Link may try something hard when he comes back, but he hasn't purchased either. I love the remake on Twitch. Very feel good when you're just having fun in lane. Sweepers coming out for Dig as they still can try to control the map, as we watch Doublelift and Afromu try to take control of this bottom lane. They're up 200 gold across the map and only a few CS to that lane itself.
Yeah, yet with the early lane potency of the Nami and Lucian, the fact that they are behind 4 CS and actually down in overall kills and assists in the bottom lane, it means Doublelift and Afromu are winning that out quite handily in comparison to what is expected.
Hey, they wanted that matchup. It's going to be something they're playing very strong to win as well.
I think it's more they wanted the combination of the matchups too. They wanted Seraph 1v1 against Zion with the Lulu early on. And Dexter is really spending a lot of time down here.
Oh, wow. 2 shots off. Concussive blows there coming in from Afromu's passive. And they get out just shy of 6-2. I guess they're halfway there. So really couldn't have waited all that time to hit level 6. Top lane 52 to 47. Zion Spartan actually not faring too badly here. No. But Sheen first.
The kill as well will help out a fair bit in this. Seraph had to make that sacrifice, but he's still going to be the one stuck in isolation with Zion Spartan. Although with just the Sheen, it's really not that much health. He's keeping even-ish in farm, but he still hasn't turned powerful. I think when Zion Spartan gets a Trinity Force is when he's going to try and get powerful, because Seraph is generally building magic resist because he needs it for the mana regen. And that'll make him very vulnerable to the physical and true damage that Zion will be putting out at that point. But you gotta wait a while for that to happen.
Yeah. Slowly pushing out. We've seen that bottom lane. Oh, Zion Spartan getting some extra damage on. Can't do much damage as a squirrel, but he cuts right through that shield.
Surge.
Wow. Another blade surge with a little bit of W active. Very nice damage.
Yeah. So they are fully on their own up there, because the junglers are now focusing the Dragon area more so than anything else. Crumbs is hoping to catch a counter gank on Elise, but he's really far out.
Be a hard thing to do. Dexter's going back. So this really would have been a great initiation by Crumbs in the bottom lane. Link working on his farm as we see Shifter going back as well. Link, a big playmaker, so it's always interesting to see him on a champion that needs to roam very, very hard to make those plays happen. He can do it on Yasuo once the team gets together to help.
Yeah, having Link on Yasuo will be a interesting experience for sure. We haven't seen him do it yet in the North American LCS, but everyone does seem to be picking up Yasuo, and it's something Link is going to have to learn and play very well.
It takes a lot of team coordination as well if you're waiting for those initiations. We've seen a lot of Tristana.
This is very interesting what's happening in Dragon Pit right now.
CLG chooses differently. Dexter?
Crumbs just walked all the way around the pit, but hasn't seen inside of it. And CLG probably would have just snuck this dragon from right under Dignitas' noses.
Wow.
Wow.
1530 on that Dragon to come back up. All CLG's knowledge.
Got to check inside the pit from time to time, not just around it. Geez, so a slight lapse in dig ward coverage right there punishes themselves with about 1,000 Dragon Gold going to CLG.
Oh my word, those Sheen hits really throwing damage at Seraph. He has to use his shield, his abilities just to stop Zion Spartan, and Zion's waiting for the Glitterlands to hit, and then he closes the gap.
And he's got the lane frozen right now. It's those 4 points he has in his W right now that is allowing him to outtrade a little bit. But he still doesn't have the Trinity Force, meaning unless Seraph itemizes some armor, which he has not done, he's going for the Athene's Unholy Grail, Zion may be able to really start punishing with the way he has the lane positioned right now.
Interesting matchup to see. A lot of people have been saying Lulu is another one of the bullies to come out of 4.10 in the top lane, and Zion kind of changing that thought around. Good play so far there, getting help from Crumbs to start that off though. But we know Zion, once he does get help, usually doesn't need repeat help. He can hold that.
We were talking earlier as the casters as well. If anyone was going to break out a rally in North America, it would be Zion Spartan.
That's true.
Because he's so good at it. But at this point, Crumbs is really trying to get that first level 6 gank off. He's already gotten the Dragon taken away from him, so he wants to make up for it. But he can't push too hard. Twitch Braum is the type, if they land the right combos, they could actually turn a 2-3 around.
Slow moving. Crumbs knows there may be a chance here. With no vision yet of Dexter, they have to be very careful too.
Vi isn't really the type of jungler that can afford waiting in a brush this long without getting any positive results. She either needs to be farming or ganking, or she will fall behind and become very useless late game.
Dexter now to the top lane without seeing Crumbs anywhere. He's going to try to make some moves, knowing that there has been a lot of pressure onto Seraph. Coming out of that brush as he did, though.
Yeah.
A little different.
It's very good timing for the gank, though. This is right when Zion wants to get aggressive because he has the Phage. So if CLG could get a gank here, it would completely turn the tides of this game.
Zion's definitely got a sense that something's going, but he uses the dash. He wants to go back to Dexter. Hits it nicely. He actually hits the W down, kind of canceling out the cocoon that came in at the same time. He's able to get out.
Slippery Zion Spartan right there. Barely getting touched.
That passive helping a little.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shifter doing quite well, 130 to 124. Anytime Shifter returns the lane, he'll get a few CS up, pushing Link into his turret, but they equal out the lane on that trade. Loving all of these lanes. So much potential for kill power to really come out. Waiting for Doublelift and Aframu to find the attack they want. Again, really, just as much as CLG does, loving this Braum. Even when they're bubbled, they're losing a bit of health, but they get that back with Relic. They get it back with the Scepter. The Cullink's just there for pressure. Aframu keep it strong. Whoa! Jumped in the air. That's all it took for Kiwi Kid to know that was going to happen. Great reaction time.
Learning the animations is very key. But is that going to give them a false sense of security right there? Because Dexter's waiting in the wings, and Dignitas thinks they can trade.
There's the invisibility. They don't see Doublelift coming in. A few more shots. Can Doublelift cancel this one out? The heal comes in. The Summoner spell used by Cutie Pie, but it's not going to be helpful. They are still going on. One more hit coming in from Aframu to lock down the concussive blows. He gets the Winter's Bite on. And the flash over the wall from Link on his first roam becomes his kill. That's the first assist, I guess. That was Doublelift's.
Yeah, with a lot of help from Dexter, Doublelift and Aframu are back in the game. This is Doublelift at home. He's looking to make up for the poor performance yesterday and prove why he's so good. But this happened in the top lane as well. Once again, while Dexter was bottom helping out Doublelift, Crumbs was top helping out Zion Spartan. He had the lead on Seraph from here.
Oh my.
And, I mean, did he even need Vi? No.
Crumbs was just taking a Polaroid. You can get the picture after.
Would have been nice to have Vi bottom during all that turret diving.
That's true. Get a little more experience on Crumbs. He's kind of been in the brush, wasting time. The team's doing well, but if he can't get into the fight and be big, we've seen what happens when Dexter doesn't have that armor. He kind of just melts.
Yeah. Vi jumping onto Twitch at this point, especially with Aframu's protection, is looking dangerous late game. So even though Seraph is behind in that top lane, the team fighting of CLG is looking incredibly potent, and they are kind of in position to win this one right now.
With those 3 kills, Doublelift's able to fix up his Berserker Greaves and the Blade of the Ruined King already. So now more than happy to match up in this lane. Just have to worry about a bit of sustain that could throw them off. You should be able to win these fights. 700 gold lead after everything has been said and done in this game. And as the minute for Dragon starts to come up, we'll see what kind of pressure these teams can put on that area. Wow. Good trade.
Yeah. One interesting thing here is, even though Dignitas has the general timer of Dragon, CLG has the exacting timer of Dragon. So there is a small chance that Dexter could try and sneak it again. That being this late into the game, though, I would expect Dignitas to start covering a few more wards pretty shortly. Or to have Crumbs try and get a gank off right when the Dragon would be happening.
Junglers in the mind of each other at this point. Dexter just on the wing here on the left side. You see him coming onto your screen. 20 seconds onto Dragon, the perfect time for teams to get together.
They have a few people down here. They might just try a brute force dive. They may even be able to turn it through before, but this is a little bit dangerous. Here they come!
This is really dangerous. Link is on the way down, and Shifter went up. The fight begins under the turret. A kill from Dexter comes in, but here comes Link. A new challenger enters the battle. He's actually not even needed as Zion, Spartan, and Cutie Pie are forced back. Dragon for CLG.
Dexter and CLG as a whole absolutely crushed the mind games right there. Knowing that the dive would be coming before the Dragon, because everyone wants to do a gank right before the Dragon comes up, and then just waiting for Dignitas to pounce. The counter teleport by Seraph, but most importantly, just the knowledge that everyone was going to be getting sent for double from Naffer. They don't suffer a single casualty in the bottom lane right there amongst all that, and they get the kills plus the Dragon. Huge win.
Zion Spartan kind of being forced in here. Probably love to teleport and get that top lane pushed in since he was present for that engagement down bottom. It still wasn't even to provide that much due to the engagement of CLG. Now moving around, Dig starts to clean up what they can. 27,000 now as CLG quickly takes a gold lead.
Yeah, and it's not going to be getting too much easier for Dignitas, mainly because Crumbs right now is really far behind.
Yeah.
Just the Spirit of the Other Lizard and a Health Crystal when you compare it to the Tank Spirit and upgraded boots plus the Health Crystal of Dexter. But more importantly, within the context of the team compositions, Crumbs will be trying to go with Zion Spartan. They have two squishy frontline divers. That's not enough to take down Twitch Braum at this point. They do not have enough damage or enough tankiness to deal with it. Aphromoo just has to use his ultimate while Twitch does, and they will obliterate any dive that comes at them at this point in the game.
CLG taking into consideration what Zion Spartan said about having great lanes. So really what they do is they fan out and pick out Crumbs as much as possible. Definitely softened up the lanes enough for CLG to start taking the lead.
A little bit of help.
Man, he doesn't even know. Oh, what a surprise from Double Lift. That's going to be the kill. And this just means Double Lift feels so strong. CLG is going to start taking over.
Yep, this is the Double Lift that had 66 kills over the first 5 weeks of the LCS.
Yeah.
Just roaming everywhere once he and Aphromoo have destroyed the lane and helping out everybody else. Zion Spartan was the strongest member of Dignitas. He got taken down with ease.
It's going to be incredibly hard for Dignitas to feel comfortable in any position if they don't have enough pink wards on the map. They won't even be able to take down this turret here. Not enough coverage for Cutie Pie, but it is prepped. CLG 68%. That's quickly moving up as well. 70% to 30 here as they now group together in the mid lane. Look at Double Lift getting a split push on already. He was happy to take that all the way to second tier.
Yeah, big moment in the game.
Very
here
safe
as well, with two turrets being down on both sides and CLG taking the majority of the previous victories. Cutie Pie wants to get to that Ghost Blade, but he started Avarice Blade, whereas Double Lift started Brutalizer. So if the fight happens shortly, Twitch will actually be much stronger here. It basically would be on Shifter to land a spectacular shockwave for the next upcoming fight, but oh, yeah, don't go on that. That would have been the end of Link.
I probably would have.
Dexter also going for more of a carry-oriented Elise build as well.
Just going to point that out.
He got a little bit of a gold lead, immediately went for a second penetration item.
It follows suit with what he's been doing on Vi.
Yep. So he will be packing a punch.
Crumbs is going to feel that as well. We still point back to his build. Dexter will probably solo him out real quick. Moving down the mid lane. Looks like they're going to get the second tier turret as well. Shifter could have a nice ultimate, but there's no follow-up from the team. Everybody's getting a split push on themselves. Zion Spartan is still proving useful in the top lane right now. He doesn't have a lead, though, on to Seraph. So now that they meet, Zion Spartan has to back off.
Really seems like CLG is a team much different from what they did yesterday. This is more of the CLG that has been being played all season. And honestly, as far as Dignitas is concerned, it's speaking to some of their problems. they often don't perform well in the last game they play of the week. And once again, they're like a completely different team from yesterday. Dignitas had such a great game against LMQ and of looking quite lackluster here. Crumbs has not been able to find openings on Vi. He is falling drastically far behind. They had a dragon snuck away from under their noses early game, yet their dragon control was pretty much what won them the game against LMQ. Peculiar match.
The coaches are definitely helping, but there is always the possibility that once in the game, if the shot caller himself is the one that's taking the most hits, silence can happen. The calls can be second guessed and things just kind of start to fall apart. Towards the end of the day, the end of a week, it's a little easier to do and fall into those habits.
Yeah. And honestly, once you're down 5,000 gold in 20 minutes, coaching goes out the window a little bit, and it's more about instinct and game sense. You don't necessarily coach and say, all right, once we fall behind by 5,000 gold, we're going to do this with our composition. You really have to find these really small windows because the majority of pre-played plans would fail.
Oh my word. And if it's not pre-planned, it happens in the blink of an eye. Found Logic Gaming picking up crumbs.
Big move there by Aframu to steal those double buffs away, flashing over the wall after the cocoon had landed.
All the control that they want, even denying this second tier turret now before the base. It looks like they'll have Dragon. One more time. There's a ward just past him at blue that CLG had deeply placed. Getting him a kill.
The main thing about that, though, is Dignitas had absolutely no one to retaliate. All the cooldowns got burned on in Crumbs, but everyone else on Dignitas was spread out throughout the map.
Still looking good from Zion Spartan in the top lane.
Best.
Aurelias can be fight changers, but I don't know how much that's going to change. Doublelift's very big right now. 4-1-2, hasn't been back to spend his most recent gold, and Dragon is going to be CLG's once again. Oops.
Definitely looking like that. They missed the sweep, even though they saw the ward being placed down. This would be Dignitas' want to get back because they're going to feel like CLG has enough ultimates burned. Zion also burned the Seraph Lulu ultimate up here, so maybe Dignitas tries to force something here. If they lose this fight, the game's over. If they win it, they're back a little bit into the game. But they're so far behind.
Definitely need something of a perfect tidal wave. A lot of possible things could happen. Aframu definitely has a lower cooldown on Unbreakable than they do on
Bit of a desperation dragon. They want to land the perfect shockwave. CLG's got to go in for this. They're so far ahead.
Look at the ball placement. They give it up on that one. CLG is going to let it go.
Very odd. They were down ultimates, sure.
Agreed.
But with how much they've been beating Dignitas up, that was a way to take the game and turn it into a victory.
Keep that fight in mind because that dragon also turns into a mid-turret without any retaliation possibly. There's the AP that Dexter was building, but it wasn't that much of a burst coming out onto Crumbs. They're about to go back. He gets a double shockwave. Link's on the outside. He tries to throw up Crumbs. Gets him down. Crumbs can't do much, and it's going to be 2 kills for Dragon and mid-turret. CLG is heading towards that Baron area.
Maybe a little bit more. CLG trying to make a bold call after this team fight there. A little bit low. They've killed a lot of Dignitas, though. Let's see. Let's see how they decide to do this. No smite possibilities, but that's a lot of damage that Dignitas has up right now. They just need vision.
Blade of the Rune King from Doublelift helping to chunk down the HP of Baron. It's down to 3,500 HP right now. Definitely not a smite range. Cutie Pie so far ahead in the fight. He gets picked up. He gets thrown down. Another death. But here comes now. It's going to be Crumbs out of the base. Only Boots won. The brown bags will not carry him to Baron fast enough. It looks like it's going to be Baron going over to CLG.
Well, they did give up the dragon, but they got the greater prize.
Yeah.
Which is the Baron when all was said and done. They waited for Aframu's ultimate cooldown, which was not up at the dragon pit. Instead opted to use that in the mid lane. It allowed them to get a few kills. Then they played the Baron very smartly, knowing there was no smite potential, but instead the fear of a fight. Peeled as soon as Dignitas came for it, and then picked up the kills where they should have. So things back in control for CLG.
Absolutely. 2,000 gold sitting on Link, Doublelift, and Aframu, or just near if you round it up. Doublelift himself, about 2,000 gold ahead of I'm a Cutie Pie, just in stats for a champion to champion. And he did his own work to get his kills. Right after he got kills in the bottom lane, he went to the top lane. CLG made sure to get him big before they really wanted to activate what their priorities were. As taking over the side of Dignitas. The boards aren't there yet. With Baron, they're clearing out the waves so they can get a nice push on one of these mid inhibs.
Yeah, It's another one of these games for Shifter where when the rest of Dignitas is doing poorly, he shuts down a little bit. He's a very opportunistic mid lane player in the sense that when Dignitas is behind, he still doesn't die because he's not. There's no opportunities for him to jump.
Right.
It's one thing that
safety sometimes keep you from getting your own kills.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Right.
Right. How Shifter ends up playing these games. He had another game when Dignitas lost to Complexity. He didn't even try using Shockwave until 26 minutes in.
Yeah, remember that.
He's definitely not one of the players that creates his own action, but is fantastic at cleaning up action when it happens.
Coming to mind, the Ziggs triple quadra at the Baron Pit with Orianna. There's definitely the possibility for a skill outplay. Cutie Pie doesn't want to be taking that much damage just right now. They have the sustain from Kiwi Kid, but it's only so much. Getting on these turrets is still hard for CLG. They do have a tidal wave to be messing with. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of a split push. Actually, the whole team's going up now.
Yeah, they're just sweeping turrets as best they can. The side turrets are a little easier to take than the mid turrets typically. This is a very exposed turret to defend if CLG wanted to flank around the backside. And Dignitas, as you see, is very hesitant in the way they tried to posture that turret.
Textbook plays coming out from CLG. Once they get the lead, able to go from turret to turret, slowly whittling down their opponent. Crumbs still trying to piece together a bit of mitigation of magic resistance in that Spectre's Cowl, as well as the Chain Vest. Can't even complete a second item by 26 minutes in the game. Really tough game for him. There's his initiation right here. He tries to go hard. They get the shockwave down onto him. If there's enough crowd control, they can't turn onto him. But the second they can, he's obliterated. They go for Cutie Pie as well. The great turret microwing in and out by the HP bars of CLG. And you're right, chat. They are going to keep going. Crumbs went for broke, and they took everything they could.
Going for broke that far from home against a Baron Dub team almost never works out, but it was a desperation move by Dignitas trying to make something happen. CLG just cleaned house.
Cleaned house, now cleaning inhibitors. That Baron keeping them quite regened and strong. They use those stats to get in and out quite safely. Not going to be losing any members on that one, but they get 3 and all the way through to inhib.
Yep. This is one of the best games CLG has played all year, I have to say.
Yeah, very methodical.
If you think back to the last time they played, we'll do this replay first. The Unbreakable from Aphromu blocked the tidal wave from Nami, which was a godsend for CLG in this team fight. And then they just decided to obliterate the rest of them. Even though Dexter didn't land the Flash Cocoon, they already had killed 3.
You can see it's kind of panic mode. Dignitas has a chance to push middle. They get it pushed as fast as possible. Get back and soak up resources. Very tough game for Dig here. I don't think we've seen them really struggle this much this year. They've always had somewhat of an answer and an objective at their own turret, a way to fight back a little bit. But CLG is keeping the stranglehold on. It's definitely something they're adapting at 4.10, stronger than Dig for this game.
This game for sure. W6D2 has the Blade of the Ruined King Ghostblade build everyone else has been going with. The first pick, Lulu, shows the new top lane pick priorities, at least in the context of the overall game. But just to get back, the first time Dig and CLG played, Dig was pretty much ahead in most facets, except from, and then CLG beat them by rotating around the map. Typically, most of CLG's wins this year have been very close gold games, where they then just outmaneuver the other team and take a superior amount of turrets. This is a game where they did both, which is something that they're definitely going to want to do if they want to become the top team in North America like their goals are, but it's a very good step against a team as strong as Dignitas.
CLG is going to do what they can to get in now to the base.
Whoa!
And that's going to be a flash initiation right onto Link, forcing him out of the fight. No Zanya's there to be used. The Guardian Angel making Link an absolute beast as he jumps into the fight, and he comes out completely alive with the Guardian Angel still up.
He went a little bit in that time, but it worked easily because Dignitas is so far behind. This is inhibitor number 2 for CLG. What a move.
A few hits here. CLG definitely making quicker work of the inhibitors than they did in their first game. It looks like a shockwave comes out. It's able to grab some damage, but not able to grab the kills. It's all Counter Logic Gaming, way faster than the first game. They're going to be taking out the Nexus 14 minutes earlier than they did in this first matchup. Counter Logic Gaming in 29.5 minutes takes down Dignitas.